The light above Ravi's eyes flickered as he opened them slowly. His head hurt. His arms felt heavy. A soft humming sound came from around him. The walls were white, smooth, and curved. He was inside a recovery pod. He blinked, trying to remember. How he got there. The last thing he remembered was the rescue mission on the frozen moon of Vedra. There had been a landslide. He had fallen into a crack in the ice. Then, nothing. Now he was here. As he tried to sit up, a soft hand gently pressed his shoulder back down. "You need to rest," said a calm voice. Ravi turned his head and saw her. A tall figure with silver blue skin, long white hair tied behind her head, and calm purple eyes. She wore a simple medical uniform with a Telan symbol on the arm. She was not human. She was one of the alien healers from the Telan species. "My name is Loma," she said with a small smile. "You were injured. I helped treat your wounds. You are safe now." Ravi stared at her for a moment. He had heard about the Telan. They were known for peace, healing, and advanced medical skills. Many human ships had Telan nurses or doctors on board during mixed missions. They never joined in fighting, only healing. "Thank you," Ravi said slowly. "I thought I was done." "You are lucky," Loma replied. "You had a head injury and a broken leg, but your body is strong. You will recover." She handed him a small cup filled with light green liquid. "Drink this. It will help your pain and speed healing." Ravi drank it. The taste was strange, but not bad. He relaxed and leaned back into the pod's soft cushion. Over the next few hours, Loma checked his bandages, adjusted the machines, and gave him soft food. Her movements were quiet and calm. She spoke little, only when needed. But Ravi watched her carefully. There was something about her that didn't feel normal. At first, he thought maybe he was just confused. Maybe the injury was still making him think strange things. But then he noticed something. Whenever the captain or the chief medical officer came into the room, Loma would stand still and avoid looking at them. Her eyes would lower and her shoulders would tighten. It was not fear. It was like she was hiding a secret. Later that evening, when the lights dimmed and the ship went into night mode, Ravi pretended to sleep. Through half-closed eyes, he watched. Loma moved toward a cabinet near the far wall. She looked over her shoulder to make sure no one was watching. Then she opened a small hidden slot behind the cabinet panel and pulled out a strange metallic device. It was small, shaped like a cube, and it glowed faintly. She held it in both hands, closed her eyes, and then pressed a button on the top. A soft pulse passed through the air. Ravi felt it in his chest, like a gentle tap. Loma whispered something in her own language. Then she placed the device back inside the slot and closed the panel. Ravi kept still, trying to process what he had just seen. The next day, he asked the ship's technician, Iman, about Loma. "Do you know where she came from?" Ravi asked. Iman shrugged. "She's from the Telan medical program. We get 1 or 2 assigned every mission. They're peaceful. Don't worry." "But when did she join the ship?" "Just before we left Station 10. "Why?" "No reason." Ravi said, hiding his thoughts. He spent the next few days recovering, but his mind stayed busy. Loma continued to care for him, always gentle, always quiet. But she kept her distance. She never joined the other nurses for meals. She stayed inside the med bay even when her shift ended. She always carried a small pouch tied to her belt and never let anyone touch it. One night, Ravi woke up from a strange dream and looked around them. Dim room. The other patients were asleep. Loma stood near the window, looking out into space. Ravi sat up slowly. "Can't sleep." Loma turned slightly. "I rest during the day," she said. "I like the stars. They make me feel close to home." Ravi looked at her. Her face was calm, but her eyes looked far away, full of thought. She didn't speak. "Loma," he said, "you're more than just a nurse, aren't you?" She didn't answer right away. Then she turned to him with a soft smile. "Everyone has something they keep inside," she said. "Even you." Ravi, he didn't push her further. But inside, his curiosity grew stronger. Later that morning, something strange happened. A nearby human ship sent a distress signal. Its engines had failed. but no damage was found. It looked like someone had blocked its systems for a few minutes and then restored them. The captain was confused. The engineers found no fault. Some thought it was a simple system error. Ravi didn't believe it was an error. He remembered the pulse from Loma's hidden device. It had felt just like the strange wave that came from the damaged ship. He watched Loma carefully that day. She said nothing about the event, but her steps were slower. Her eyes looked more tired. She checked Ravi's bandages without speaking and avoided his gaze. Something was happening. Something she was not telling anyone. Ravi made a decision. He would find out what Loma was hiding. Not because he didn't trust her, but because he wanted to understand her. He wanted to know the truth, because deep down, he felt that whatever she was hiding, it wasn't something evil. It was something important. The lights inside the medbay dimmed as ship night settled in. Most of the patients were asleep. The machines made soft beeping sounds, and the hum of the engines filled the silence. Ravi lay in his bed with his eyes closed, but he was not sleeping. His mind was alert, his body tense. He waited. It had been 3 nights since he saw Loma use the strange device. Each day since then, he had watched her closely. She never brought it out again, not in front of others. But Ravi believed she would try again. Tonight felt different. Loma looked nervous all day. Her hands had trembled slightly when she handed him his food. She had barely spoken a word. Now, in the quiet of the medbay, Ravi listened carefully. After some time, he heard soft footsteps. They were light and smooth, like someone trained to move silently. He opened his eyes just a little. Through the narrow slit of his eyelids, he saw Loma walking slowly toward the far side of the room. She stopped at the same wall where he had seen her open the hidden slot. She placed her hand on the panel. It slid open silently. She reached inside and took out the same cube-shaped device. It glowed with a soft blue light. Loma held the device in both hands and looked around. Everyone appeared asleep. She closed her eyes and pressed the button on the top dot this time. Ravi felt a stronger wave of energy pass through the room. It was gentle, but clear, like a quiet vibration in his bones. He didn't move. He kept breathing slowly, pretending to sleep. Loma began to whisper. Her voice was low, and she spoke in her own language. The words were fast and flowing, filled with emotion. Ravi could not understand them, but he felt the sadness in her tone. The way she held the device, the way her shoulders dropped, she looked like someone sharing a secret with the stars. Then she stopped speaking, and the device stopped glowing. She placed it back into the slot and closed the panel. She stood still for a moment, breathing deeply. Then she turned and walked back to her small work table near the door. Ravi stayed still. His mind was racing. What had she said? Who was she speaking to? Was it a message, a warning, a code? The next morning, Ravi acted as if nothing had happened. He greeted her with a smile and thanked her for changing his bandage. She nodded softly and said little. But Ravi noticed her eyes. They looked tired and full of worry. Later that day, Ravi met Ayman in the hallway. "I need your help," Ravi said in a quiet voice. "What is it?" Ayman asked. "I want you to check something in the ship's logs about Nurse Loma." Ayman looked unsure. "Why?" "Because something isn't right. I think she was added to our crew in a strange way." Ayman frowned. "You think she's a spy?" Ravi shook his head. "I don't know. I just want to understand." Ayman agreed to check the logs. But she warned him, if she's hiding something, the captain may already know. Be careful. That evening, Ayman came to Ravi's room with a small tablet in her hand. "You were right," she said quietly. "Loma's name is not in the crew list from Station 10. She was added after we left. The entry says she was assigned by a T-Len peace office, but the code used is very old, outdated." "Old?" Ravi asked, like someone used an old system to hide the change. "It doesn't look official." Ravi felt a chill run through him. "Then she's here without full permission." "Yes. And that device you told me about, it's not listed in any T-Len medical tools." "I checked." Ravi sat back and stared at the wall. "So why is she here? And what is she sending through that device?" Ayman leaned closer. "If she's contacting someone, It's not through our comms. That cube must send signals that our systems can't detect. Ravi nodded. I think she's warning someone, or trying to stop something. Amin paused. What will you do? I'll talk to her. Tonight. That night. Ravi waited until the room was quiet. Loma was at her small table, writing something on a pad. He stood up slowly, using the wall for support. His leg was healing, but still weak. She turned as he approached. You should rest, she said, standing up. I will, Ravi said. But I need to speak with you first. She looked at him silently. Then she nodded and helped him sit in the chair beside her. You saw it, she said softly. Yes. Ravi replied. More than once, she looked down at her hands. I did not mean to bring you into this. I only wanted to finish my task and leave. What task? He asked. She took a deep breath. It's not time yet, but I promise I will tell you everything soon. Ravi leaned forward. Then give me one answer now. Are you trying to harm this ship or anyone on it? Loma's eyes met his. They were full of emotion. But calm. No, she said clearly. I'm trying to stop something bad. But I cannot do it alone. Ravi believed her. He didn't know why, but he did. There was something honest in her voice. Then let me help, he said. She looked surprised. You would help me, even though you don't know what I'm doing. Ravi nodded. I trust you. She smiled faintly. Then meet me tomorrow night, after lights out. I will explain everything. Ravi nodded. I'll be there. As he returned to his bed, he felt a strange mix of fear and hope. Something big was happening, and he had stepped into it. Loma was not just an alien nurse. She was hiding something that could change everything. He didn't know what the truth was yet, but he was ready to find out. The next night came slowly. Ravi waited in his bed, pretending to read a small datapad. His heart beat faster with every hour. The room was quiet. The lights were dim. Other patients were sleeping. Time passed, but he stayed alert. Then he saw her. Loma stood near the door. She looked at him, then nodded once and walked out. Ravi waited for a minute, then stood up carefully and followed. His leg was still weak, but he had improved. He moved quietly through the hallway, using the wall for support. He found her in the storage room behind the med bay. The lights were off, but a soft glow came from a corner, where Loma stood beside a small table. She had placed a scanner on the surface and was checking something on the screen when Ravi entered. She turned to him and gave a slight nod. Thank you for coming, she said. I want to help. Ravi said, but I need the truth. Loma looked down, then slowly took out the small silver cube from her pouch. She placed it on the table. This is not just a communication device, she said. It holds a memory file, a secret one. It is connected to something dangerous. Ravi listened carefully as she spoke. Loma began to explain. She was not a regular nurse. She had trained as a healer, yes, but she was also part of a secret Teelan group. Her group believed that their leaders were hiding something from the rest of the galaxy, something powerful and dangerous, something that must not be used. A few months ago, Loma said, we found proof that the Teelan High Council had begun to rebuild an ancient weapon, a weapon not meant for war, but for control. Ravi frowned. Control. Yes, Loma said. It is a device that can block ships, disable machines, stop communication, not by force, but by silence. It uses energy waves that cannot be traced. It can shut down a fleet without firing a shot. Ravi thought of the human ship that had gone dark for a few minutes. He remembered the strange wave he felt when Loma used the cube. You used the device on that ship? He asked. She nodded. Only for a moment. I needed to test it. I wanted to know if the wave was real. I had to be sure. Ravi stared at her. But why bring it here? Why this ship? Loma touched the cube gently. This ship carries a backup data core, a very old one. It holds the original design of the weapon. I was sent to find it and erase it before it can be used again. Ravi was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, and the Teelan Council, do they know? Loma shook her head. They think I am loyal to them. They don't know I work for the peace group. Why not go to the human leaders? Ravi asked. Why? Hide? Because if either side finds out too early, they might try to take the weapon for themselves. She said, we want to destroy the design before anyone knows it exists. Ravi understood. It was more than just a secret mission. It was a risk. Loma had come alone, with no backup, to stop something that could change the balance of peace in the galaxy. What do you need from me? He asked. I need help getting into the core chamber, Loma said. It is locked with human codes. I cannot open it without a human officer. Ravi hesitated. He was still healing, still under watch. But he knew Ayman could help. I'll speak to someone I trust, he said. She can open the door. Loma looked surprised. You trust another? She helped me find out about you, Ravi said. She knows something is wrong. Loma gave a small smile. Then we moved tonight, after the second sleep cycle. Ravi nodded and left the room. He returned to his bed, but sleep did not come. He thought about the danger. If they were caught, Loma could be arrested, and he could lose his position. But if they did nothing, someone else might find the design and use it. The next morning, Ravi met Ayman in the hallway. I need your help again, he said. What now? She asked, half smiling. We need to get into the core chamber. Loma told me everything. Ayman listened as Ravi explained the full truth. She looked serious by the end. You're serious? She asked. A silent weapon. Ravi nodded. She wants to destroy the design. Ayman paused. Then she said, I'll do it, but we have to move fast. The security team is doing checks tonight. That night, after most of the crew had gone to sleep, Ravi, Loma, and Ayman met near the back corridor. The path to the core chamber was dark and quiet. Ayman used her access card and thumbprint to open the outer door. The room beyond was cold and silent. Lights blinked on old machines. A small console stood at the center. This is it, Ayman said. It hasn't been used in years. Loma stepped forward and placed the cube on the console. It lit up and connected to the system. A screen opened, showing the design lines, codes, energy shapes, all to advance for Ravi to understand. Loma's hands moved fast. She copied the design into the cube, then began the delete process. Suddenly, a light flashed red on the wall. A motion sensor had picked them up. They're coming, Ayman said quickly. Keep going, Ravi told Loma. The door behind them started to unlock. They had only seconds left. Loma pressed one final button. The screen went black. She grabbed the cube and nodded. It's gone. The door opened, and two guards stepped in. They looked shocked. What are you doing here? One of them asked. Ravi stepped forward. We're stopping something dangerous. The guards raised their weapons, but before anything happened, the captain's voice came through the comm. Stand down, he said. I'm on my way. Loma looked at Ravi, her eyes full of fear. Don't worry, he said. You're not alone. The door slid open, and Captain Rain stepped into the core chamber with the senior officers behind him. His eyes moved slowly from Ravi to Loma, then to the console, which now showed nothing but a black screen. His face was calm, but there was tension in the air. What's going on here? The captain asked, looking directly at Ravi. Ravi stood straight, hiding the pain in his leg. Captain, I know this looks bad, but we had no choice. Loma was trying to stop something dangerous. The officers looked at each other with raised eyebrows. One of them stepped forward. Dangerous? What do you mean? Ravi turned to Loma, who was standing silently, still holding the silver cube in both hands. She took a slow breath, then stepped forward. I will explain everything, she said, her voice calm and steady. But I ask you to listen with an open mind. Captain Rain crossed his arms. You better speak fast. Loma began to tell her story again, this time in front of the highest human authority on the ship. She explained who she really was, not just a nurse, but a member of a Telan peace group. She explained the history of the silent weapon, how it could shut down fleets, remove control from machines, and how dangerous it would be if it fell into the wrong hands. The weapon does not destroy, she said, but it removes the ability to act. No communication, no movement, no power. It would give whoever controls it the power to freeze any group they dislike. Without ever firing a shot, the room was quiet as she spoke. Even the guards listened closely. Ravi added his voice. We've already seen its effect. A nearby ship was shut down for 2 minutes. No damage. But if it had been in a battle, it would have lost everything. Captain Rain looked at Iman. Is this true? Iman nodded. The ship's logs confirmed the strange wave. It came from this ship. That's when I started to suspect something. The officers stepped aside to talk quietly. Ravi could feel the tension. Loma looked nervous for the first time. Her fingers gripped the cube tightly. Finally, the captain spoke again. Whether your words are true or not, you used our systems without permission. You entered a restricted area, altered classified data, and hid your identity. Loma lowered her head. I understand. I accept responsibility. Captain Rain looked at Ravi. And you helped her. Yes, Ravi said without hesitation. I believe in what she's trying to do. There was a long pause. Then the captain said, you will both remain under watch. No rest for now. But this matter will be reported to higher command, too. Guards stepped forward. Please come with us, one said. As Ravi and Loma were taken from the chamber, she whispered, I'm sorry I pulled you into this. Ravi looked at her. No, I chose to help you. They were taken to separate quarters, not cells, but small rooms under guard. Ravi spent the night sitting in silence, wondering what would happen next. He had trusted her, and he still did. But now their actions were out in the open. The peace they wanted to protect now rested in the hands of people who might not understand. The next morning, Ravi was called to the observation room. Captain Rain and a representative from the Teelan High Council were present on screen. A human officer from the Peace Alliance also joined via communication link. We have reviewed the full report, said the peace officer. This situation is sensitive. It cannot be ignored. The Teelan representative looked cold and formal. Loma has acted outside the law. She stole information. She interfered in a mission. Captain Rain kept his tone neutral. But she may have also prevented a future war. The screen showed the design Loma had saved. Now being studied by human and Teelan science teams, they confirmed it was real. They also confirmed it had the power to stop systems silently and completely. Who made this design? The peace officer asked. The Teelan representative hesitated. It was created long ago during a time of conflict. It was hidden for safety. We had no intention of using it again. Ravi stepped forward. Then why not thank Loma? She made sure no one could use it. The peace officer leaned back. That's the question we're all asking now. After a long discussion, the council decided not to punish Ravi or Loma. The weapon design was officially erased. The Peace Alliance would send investigators to make sure no hidden copies remained. Loma's group, One Secret, was now known. They would be allowed to speak openly about peace and protection. But there was one more choice to make. Loma was offered a chance to return to her people under guard or to stay among the humans. As a peace witness, she chose to stay. Later that day, Ravi met her in the med bay. She was sitting near the same table where she had once used the cube in secret. Now the room felt different. No fear, only quiet peace. You're staying? Ravi asked. Yes. Loma said, if I leave now, it sends the wrong message. I want others to know what happened, what we stopped. Ravi smiled. I'm glad. We still need nurses. Loma smiled back. I will still heal. But now, not just wounds, also trust. They sat together in silence for a moment. Outside, the ship continued its journey through space. The stars shone bright, calm, and endless. A danger had passed. A truth had been revealed. But a new path had just begun. A week had passed since the council meeting. The weapon design had been erased. Loma's true role had been accepted, and Ravi was no longer under watch. But peace on the ship felt thin. Like a soft thread that could break at any moment, Ravi sat in the medbay, watching Loma clean a scanner. She looked calm, but he could sense she was holding something back. Her eyes moved carefully. Her steps were slower than before. You're worried, Ravi said. Loma paused and looked at him. Yes. Something is wrong. What is it? 3 nights ago, I picked up a signal. Very short, very weak. It came from deep space. From one of our hidden zones. Ravi frowned. What kind of signal? It was a recall code. One that means someone has found the weapon data again. Ravi sat up straighter. I thought it was gone. I deleted it from this ship. But I fear there was a second copy, hidden somewhere else. Ravi felt a cold weight in his chest. You think your people are trying to rebuild it? No, Loma said. Not my peace group, but someone from the High Council. Maybe someone who wants power. Ravi stood and walked to the console near the wall. He opened a secure line to Ayman. Meet me in the med bay. Now, minutes later. Ayman arrived. She looked from Ravi to Loma. What's going on? She asked. Ravi explained the signal. Loma showed the pattern she had recorded. Ayman ran it through the ship's database. This isn't just any signal, she said. It's from a Telan deep code line. Almost impossible to trace. But I found a match. There's a relay satellite near the edge of our travel zone. If this message passed through there, someone might be planning a secret transport. Ravi leaned over the screen. We need to stop it. But how? Ayman asked. We can't leave our course without the captain's order. We don't need to change the course, Loma said. Just send a scout pod to check the satellite. We'll be close to it in 2 days. Ayman thought for a moment. I can try to get us access to one of the pods, but it'll need a reason. Ravi nodded. We'll come up with one. The next 2 days passed slowly. Loma spent time watching the nav maps. Ayman stayed near the tech deck. Ravi rested when he could, but his thoughts were full of worry. If someone truly was trying to rebuild the weapon, they had to stop it before it was too late. On the evening of the 2nd day, Ayman gave the signal. We're ready, she said. I unlocked pod 3, but it only gives you 4 hours. After that, they'll notice it's missing. Ravi and Loma prepared quickly. The scout pod was small, built for speed and basic scans. As they climbed in, Ravi checked the time. 4 hours, he said. Let's make it count. The pod launched silently into space. Stars stretched around them. Loma took control of the system while Ravi monitored the scan tools. There, Loma pointed. The satellite. We'll reach it in 20 minutes. They approached the old relay satellite slowly. It looked dead at first, floating quietly. But Loma's scanner picked up a soft pulse. Someone was here, she said, recently. Ravi activated the sensor. There's a small docking mark. Looks like a pod connected here. Loma connected the cube device to the scanner. She closed her eyes and breathed slowly. I'm trying to match the energy pattern. If I can find the same one from before. Yes, there it is. What does it mean? Ravi asked. It means someone downloaded something. They didn't send it far. They used the satellite as a step point. Ravi looked at the nav screen. Where did it go next? Loma's fingers danced over the buttons. A red line appeared, pointing toward a small moon in the nearby zone. Whoever took the data is hiding there, she said. We don't have time to reach it now, Ravi said. We'll have to report this. But Loma did not look calm. Her eyes stayed on the screen. That moon. It's used by old Telan ships. It has a power core under the surface. If they activate the design there, it will be hidden from scans. Ravi understood the danger now. So even if we search later, we might never find it. Loma nodded. We must return and tell the captain. But we must move fast. They turned the pod around and sped back to the main ship. Time was almost up. They landed just before the pod systems would have sent an alert. Back inside, Ravi and Loma ran straight to the command deck. Captain Rain was speaking with an officer when they entered. Captain, Ravi said. We have a problem. Captain Rain listened carefully as they explained the pod mission. He said nothing until the end. You went without permission. He said calmly. Yes, Ravi said. But if we waited, it would be too late. Captain Rain walked to the nav screen. He stared at the moon shown in the red line. Then he turned. This is not a small matter, he said. If this is true, we may be facing a silent attack without warning. Loma stepped forward. We still have a chance. The power core will need at least 2 days to start. If we go now, We can reach it in time. Captain Rain looked at his officers. Set a course to that moon. Quietly. No outside signals. The officers moved quickly. The ship changed direction without alerting. Others died as the stars moved outside the window. Ravi stood beside Loma. You said you were only a nurse, he said with a smile. Loma looked at him. Sometimes, nurses see danger before soldiers do. Ravi laughed softly. And sometimes, soldiers follow nurses into danger. They looked out into space. Toward the moon where the next part of their journey waited. They didn't know what they would find, but they knew they would face it together. The ship moved silently through the dark space toward the small moon. Ravi stood on the bridge, watching the stars pass by. The tension in the air was heavy. Everyone knew the danger. No one spoke much. Even Loma was quiet, focused on the mission. Ahead. Days remained before they could reach the moon's surface. The ship's crew prepared carefully. Engineers checked the engines. Security teams reviewed their plans. The captain held briefings to keep everyone ready. Ravi met Loma in the med bay. She was sitting at her small table, holding the silver cube. The device was quiet now. No glowing, no pulsing. I feel tired, Loma said softly. This mission is harder than I thought. Ravi smiled gently. You have done more than anyone expected. She looked up at him. Thank you, Ravi. I could not have done this without you. That night, Ravi woke suddenly. His leg ached, but something else pulled at his mind. He got up and walked toward the engine room. The corridor was dark and empty. When he reached the engine core, he saw Loma already there. She was working on the console, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. What are you doing here? Ravi asked quietly. Loma smiled faintly. I wanted to be sure the core is ready. The weapon design requires power to activate. If the core is offline or weak, it cannot start. Ravi nodded. Do you think they have tried to use the weapon here before? Loma shook her head. No, this place is safe for now. But we cannot be sure how long it will stay that way. They worked together, checking the power levels and systems. Suddenly, an alarm beeped softly. Someone is trying to access the ship's mainframe. Eamon's voice came through the comm. Ravi and Loma exchanged worried looks. We have company, Ravi said. They hurried back to the bridge. The captain was already there. Watching the screens, enemy signals detected, he said. Unknown ships approaching fast. Loma's eyes widened. They must be after the weapon data. Ravi stood firm. We will stop them. The ship's defense systems activated. Shields glowed blue round the hull. The engines prepared for emergency maneuvers. The enemy ships were small but fast. They tried to block the human ship's path and cut communications. Ravi and Loma worked with the crew, helping the engineers keep the shields strong and guiding pilots round the attackers. After a tense hour, the enemy ships pulled back. The human ship was safe, but the threat was real. The captain turned to Ravi and Loma. This fight is not over. We must reach the moon before they try again. Loma nodded. We need to get to the weapon design and destroy it completely. When the ship arrived near the moon, a small landing team was ready. Ravi, Loma, and I were part of it. They boarded a shuttle and descended through the thin atmosphere. The moon's surface was rocky and cold. The landing site was near an old power station, partly buried under dust and stone. Inside the power station, the team moved carefully. The halls were dark, and the air was thick. The energy core hummed softly in the center of the room. Loma approached the control panel. She used the cube device to connect to the system. The screen lit up, showing a complex network of codes and circuits. Loma's fingers moved fast, deleting files and shutting down power lines linked to the weapon design. Suddenly, the doors slid open. Soldiers in dark uniforms stepped inside. They raised their weapons. Stop right there. Their leader shouted. Ravi raised his hands. We do not want to fight. We are here to end this weapon. The leader laughed. You think you can stop what has already started? You are fools. The team prepared to defend themselves. But before the fight began, a loud explosion shook the building. The power core began to overload. Lights flickered and alarms screamed. Loma shouted, we must get out. Now, the team ran toward the exit. Ravi helped Loma when she stumbled. Ayman led the way. Outside, the shuttle was waiting. The explosion left the power station burning and collapsing as they took off. Ravi looked back at the moon. The secret weapons base was gone. Loma smiled weakly. We stopped it. Ravi nodded. Because we worked together. The captain's voice came over the comm. Good work, team. Return to the ship. As the shuttle returned, Ravi felt hope. The danger was real, but humanity and their alien allies had shown strength. Together, they would protect peace in the galaxy. The ship returned to its steady course through space. Ravi sat in the medbay beside Loma. The past days had been full of danger and uncertainty, but now calm feelings settled over them both. The explosion on the moon had stopped the secret weapons threat. The power core was destroyed, and the hidden data was lost forever. Yet, the story of what happened was far from over. Captain Rain called a meeting in the ship's main hall. Officers, crew, and representatives of the Teelan Peace Group gathered. To hear the report, Loma stood quietly beside Ravi. She was no longer hiding who she was. She had become part of the crew, respected and trusted. Captain Rain spoke clearly. This mission showed us the strength of working together. Humans and Teelan, peace and trust. We faced a great threat and stopped it. He looked at Loma. Your bravery and honesty saved many lives. Loma nodded, her eyes shining with quiet pride. After the meeting, Ravi and Loma walked along the ship's corridor. The stars outside the windows stretched endlessly, full of possibility. We did what we had to do, Ravi said. I'm proud to have fought by your side. Loma smiled softly, and I'm grateful you believed in me. They stopped near the observation deck. The room was dark except for the light of distant stars. Ravi looked at the vast universe. Do you think there will be more threats like this? He asked. Loma nodded slowly. The galaxy is big. There will always be challenges. But if we stand together, we can face them. Ravi placed his hand gently on her shoulder. Together, we are stronger. Days passed, and life aboard the ship returned to normal. The crew trained, explored, and shared stories from their worlds. Loma began teaching healing skills to human nurses. Her knowledge was deep and ancient, but she explained it simply, with patience and care. Ravi helped repair the ship's systems. His strength was growing, and so was his confidence. One afternoon, a new message arrived from the Peace Alliance. They invited the ship and its crew to join a new mission, to explore a distant system that might hold more secrets and opportunities for peace. Captain Rain gathered the crew again. This mission will test us, he said, but I believe in this team. We have shown what trust can do. Loma stepped forward. I will be honored to continue this journey. Ravi smiled. Me too. As preparations began, Ravi looked once more at the stars. The future was unknown, but it was full of hope. The silent threat was gone, but the story of peace and friendship had only just begun. Together, humans and Teelan would reach farther than ever before.